Brad, when you went back and watched Tennessee, how much of that was just bad matchup for you guys, and how much of it was things that you had to get corrected week to week?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. It's play calls. Getting those guys in situations that maybe are a little bit more beneficial, and but at the end of the day, we're going to have to make plays in some one-on-one situations, and our guys have made plenty in their careers, and unfortunately didn't make the ones we needed on Saturday.
What about Auburn? How do you guys match up with them, their offense? And I know they have two quarterbacks, and there's some struggle with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a team that can move the football on the ground, and they've got, again, it's like any SC program, they've got a good set of wideouts, obviously with Cam Coleman and with Singleton there, and 3 and 4 do a nice job as well, but obviously 1 and 8 are the linchpins there. I think Cobb does an unbelievable job, in the backfield. He runs hard, great vision, contact balance. You mentioned the two quarterbacks. You got to be ready for both. System-wise, it's not going to change whoever's in. Slightly different style player in terms of, one, with Daniels being a little bit, more sturdier, a really thick runner, ran through a lot of tackles last week, when he went in the game. So you got to bring your pads, you got to bring multiple hats. Arnold obviously has sort of a different juice to him in gear in terms of, when he can get, by a defender, his twitch and explosion, he can make some big plays, with his speed. So, and both can throw the ball really well. They can both spin it. So, really big challenge.
So Ryan was pretty banged up in that game against Tennessee. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he finished that game. How's he doing right now, and how's he looking as you gear up for this Auburn match?
Yeah, all availability and that stuff comes through coach.
Several of the transfers you guys added last winter had multiple years of eligibility, even though you were playing them right away. How have those guys developed, and what does that mean for maybe your roster continuity moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can have a guy in multiple years in this system, it's huge. And I'll take for example a guy like David, and his growth, through these past 3 seasons, and he would be the first to tell you, like, it was funny, and I think I might have mentioned it, so if I did, I apologize, but when we were going through, fall install, going into summer, and we're installing for fall, and I was like, man, hey, what feels like too much? Should we cut back? We were in that process of, hey, what can we put in? And he was like, oh, that doesn't feel like a lot at all. I said, all right, David, just take it one breath. And I said, now, you walked in here, 2.5 years ago at that time. I said, now look at the board. First day in, what would that feel like? And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe we need to take a thing out, or and so you realize once you're in it for a couple of years and you digest it, then it makes sense. And in all the puzzle pieces, it doesn't look so big. You're like, okay, I can clump this, I can put it in buckets, I know how to do that. When you're trying to just do it in 1 year, it's hard, to get it all into separate buckets and make sense. And so then it just feels like a lot. Kind of a long-winded answer to say yes. Obviously the more time you have with a guy, the better.
Brad, I know you were concerned about Tennessee's balance and how they were rushing for close to 200 a game going into that matchup. Do you feel like, at least on that end and defending the run, you're in a position to feel good about your matchup this week?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Each week's its own challenge. And each week, as soon as you say, I feel good about this, or I like this matchup, again, this league has a way to humble you really, really fast. So we just understand the challenge that we're facing, and that we've faced tough challenges in the past, and we've elevated, and we've met those challenges. Like the Texas game, a team that was running the ball really well, and I thought we did a nice job. but then we go the next week and we didn't elevate to the challenge. So it's not, you know, something that you just think, okay, yep, we're going to go into this game and we're going to be just fine. It's not. Like, you've got to show up each and every week. You know, obviously our strengths need to show out for us, and, you know, and we need to minimize our weaknesses.
Can you kind of expand on Jeremiah Cobb and just like what kind of a runner he is?
Yeah, he's. I'm trying to think of a comp, but he just really does a great job of feeling little creases in the line, and then he'll explode through. They do a nice job in their zone scheme, and all he needs is a little bit of a crease, a little bit of a space. He can feel blockers move. You know, a guy that used to be really good at that, Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh, like he would just wait. It doesn't look like there's anything there, and all of a sudden it opens up a little crease, and then he's through it. Again, he does a nice job. Like if you try to go high, he can run through an arm tackle. You know, some guys, if you go hit them at the thigh boards, they'll go right down. He's got the ability to just keep his balance. You know, has the ability to, you know, spin on contact. So he's got a little bit of everything, and then has a little juice to make a 5-yard gain go for 15 or go for 20. You know, you go through their explosive play reel, and he's all over it.
But obviously, it's 2 years in a row where an injury to a starting corner has really kind of hurt you guys and put you in a bad spot. But what has to happen to develop the depth at that position until it gets back to those years you all had 4 or 5 guys who were comfortable kind of rolling out there in games? Is it just time? Is it?
Yeah. Now, we haven't really had a year where we were rolling out 4 or 5 guys. You know, the years that we played really well, right? You think about it, we were able to stay healthy at those positions, you know, and stay healthy throughout the season. And so, you know, you'd play 2 or 3. I mean, in this day and age, it's hard to hold, you know, 4, you know, and 5 really good players, you know, that they want to sit there and wait. And so you feel the effects of that at times. But no, we like, you know, sort of the young guys that we've brought in, you know, but they just, it's time on task, you know, for some young guys. And so, yeah, it's a little bit different, you know. Hey, listen, everybody's got to deal with it at varying positions. Ours just happened to be sort of on the edge sort of the last, you know, couple, but yeah, the more we can have, the better. That's obviously it.
I know you said the league has a way of humbling you when you feel good, but what does have you excited for this upcoming matchup with the Tigers?
That we get the taste out of our mouth. Like that's the thing that right now I think motivates me. I think motivates a lot of guys. You know, the other coaches, the guys in that locker room defensively, like that we have an opportunity, you know, within 7 days to try to wipe away that feeling and that game. And so that's, you know, that's exciting. And again, I think I've mentioned before, I know what these guys are made of character-wise. You know, I can't promise what the result's going to be. I don't know. But I do know they're going to fight, and I know they're a resilient group. They're going to go out, and so I'm excited to see what they put on the field. You know, they pour a lot into this, you know, and it's not just about like wins and losses, you know, in terms of, you know, performance matters. Like you can win a game and feel really bad about how you played, and you can lose a game and not be satisfied with the loss, but you can be satisfied with the way you performed as an individual, a group. You know, again, not from a moral victory standpoint, but from a performance standpoint. And so there's there was a lot of embarrassment and humility coming out of Saturday. And so on all levels, starting with me. And so we're ready that we get it, wipe that away.
Okay, folks, thank you. Appreciate it.
Coach White said right before he came out here, you're looking at this, y'all are looking at this weekend to kind of get the bad taste out of your mouth from the Tennessee game. So how has practice been? How have y'all been approaching him to do what he says, get the taste out?
I think we're approaching this week of practice like a team that has a lot to prove. I think that we've done a great job up to this point of making sure that we're doing what we need to do and having a better, not necessarily better, but a certain demeanor about ourselves. Like, this did just happen to us, and how are we going to respond? So I think it's been very good for us as a defense and as a team too, honestly.
Everett, the defense was so good against Texas the week before. Was it just Tennessee's a bad matchup? How can the performance change that widely?
I obviously want to give my credit to Tennessee, but I think that, in the league that we play in, if you make mistakes, anybody, it doesn't matter if you're 1 or 16, your mistakes are going to get capitalized on. So I think, like I said, that's a really good football team, but when we shoot ourselves in the foot, that's the result we have to expect. So now we just have to approach it in a way of not shooting ourselves in the foot, and I think that we've been doing a good job of that this week.
Talk about Auburn's running game and what kind of problems that presents and what you guys have to do there.
Their running back is a really good back. I think that the main thing with him is making sure we get the ball to the ground. He likes to break tackles. He's really good at breaking tackles, and he's an efficient runner. So I think the biggest thing with just attacking their offense and their running game is just making sure that we don't misfit anything, make sure we put a hat on a hat inside the box, and making sure that we're doing our job to the best of our abilities.
Run defense has improved since the start of the season. Can you put your finger on anything happening there that's allowed you to be more successful?
Myself or the
As the unit,
defense?
or
Okay.
yourself.
Defensively, I think that we've done a good job of improving on that because we've taken the right steps to make sure, like, hey, we have this problem. What are we going to do to fix this problem? And I think that, honestly, that's a good thing to look at it, too, because the same way that we went about fixing our run game is the same way that we're going to go about fixing mistakes that we made last week.
Alex, just what was the coach's message to you, and maybe your message to the team as kind of a leader or an older guy, just for that performance and how y'all need to bounce back this Saturday?
Yeah, we looked at the film. We just got to flush it and just move forward. That's we got another opportunity in front of us, and we can't really dwell on the loss. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta learn from our mistakes and just move forward. And we got another SEC game ahead of us.
Brad White talks about shaking that bad taste out of your mouth from last weekend. Going into Auburn, some guys even like playing on the road more than at home. What can you say about this opportunity that's presented this week? Yeah,
it's a great opportunity. Great environment. I never played down there, so I'm excited to play down there. And yeah, we all we got our team when we go down there, so we just got to go and execute. Get the game plan and just go out there and just do us and just play Kentucky football, and we should be good.
From a linebacker standpoint, does it change at all whoever is in quarterback for the other team? Does it matter because you might see two different guys?
It doesn't really matter. We've been preparing for both quarterbacks. We've been preparing for both of them. So whoever come here, we're just gonna be ready for them.
Is there anything about this matchup that has you personally excited?
Yeah, it's a challenge for us as a defense. They got great receivers. We're 8-1. They're real fast, and the run game as well. So it's a challenge for the front seven. You know what I'm saying? They got a good running back, so we got to limit the run, limit the explosion, and we should be good.
Coach White kind of implied that it's strength on strength with their good running game, your good run defense,
yeah.
Or improved right now. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's gonna be it's gonna come down to the front seven. You know what I'm saying? Who's more dominant in the front seven? I feel like we just gotta go out there and just strike first. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
We're good.